Hello, my name is Filza, and I'll be presenting the action plan and learning outcome for paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. For paragraph 1, the action plan is seaweed has a tradition of being part of the animal feed in coastal areas from ancient times due to the high mineral contents of seaweed. They have the ability to absorb inorganic substances from an environment, and this includes the contaminants which threatens their life. 2. Copper concentrations that exceed 20 micrograms per gram can be toxic. Next, although there are many sources of water contamination, industrialization and urbanizations are two major culprits for the increased level of heavy metal water contaminations. 4. A biomonitor can be defined as an organism which accumulates contaminants in its tissues and provides a time-integrated measure of contaminant in a system. Biomonitors are used worldwide in a large-scale monitoring programs to identify areas with elevations in contaminants from anthropogenic sources. The two learning outcomes for paragraph 1 is majority of heavy metal contamination originated from industries, and seaweed plays a big role in the chain of food at the sea or ocean. For paragraph 2, the action plan is the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency standard for copper in drinking water is 1.3 mg per liter, which could kill many aquatic organisms, especially fish and shrimps. Next, when metal reach sufficiently high concentration in body cells, they can alter the physiological functioning of organisms. The learning outcome of paragraph 2 is copper are basic needs of organisms, but if it is consumed excessively, it would harm the organisms.
For the paragraph 3, here is the fact. The idea for this fact is what the concentration of metal found in Hong Kong Island and Brazil's Sepetiba Bays. Here is the average concentration of metal found in Brazil's Sepetiba Bays. But we believe that metal found in Hong Kong Island is similar to this average concentration that we found in Brazil's Sepetiba Bays. The average concentration is exceed the limit allowed by Brazilian legislation. The next idea is where the bays are located. For the Bays Head Bay, Rushcutter Bay, and Woolloomooloo Bay, all of them are located at the Sydney, Australia. Here is the coordinate for each location. And for the Hong Kong Island, is located in Hong Kong, and Sepetiba Bay is located in Brazil. Next idea is what the effect of heavy metal contaminated water. For the human exposure, if we drink the contaminated water, we could have cardiovascular disorder, neuronal damage, renal injuries, risk of cancer, and also diabetes. For the aquatic creatures, they might be poisoned and be dead. For the paragraph 4, here we found 3 facts. For the fact number 5, heavy metals such as copper, lead, and zinc find their way into Sydney Harbour from stormwater runoff, industrial water, and motorized watercraft. The idea is which of the activities contribute the highest heavy metal level into Sydney Harbour? The answer is industrial water. It is because it has been stated in pollution in RSW Parliamentary Research Service with title Sydney Harbour Sewage Toxic and Chemicals in and Microplastic Briefing Paper number 3 2015 by Daniel Montoya by saying that improved regulation of industrial influence and progressive phasing out of leading petrols since 1858 are the most contributing factor. The next fact is these seaweeds bioaccumulate metals inside their tissue and scientists use them to monitor environmental pollutants. The idea is how does the bioaccumulate process occur in seaweed tissues? The answer is bioaccumulation thereby comprises the more specific process of bioconcentration and biomagnification. For the bioconcentration is the process of direct presentation of chemicals between the water and the organism within the seaweed tissue, leading to elevated concentration in the latter. For the biomagnification is the result of contaminant uptake from the diet leading to higher concentration in the feeder than in the diet. Next, the fact number 7 is published in an upcoming issue of the Journal Environmental Pollution. It is the first investigation of geographic relationship between metal contamination in seaweed and crustaceans that feed on them. The idea is how does geography affect the metal contamination in seaweed and other sea creatures? The answer is metals are continuously released into the biosphere by volcanoes and the natural weathering of rocks. Plus, there was also release, released through numerous anthropogenic activities like mining, fuel combustion, industrial, urban, and agriculture activities.
Wabarakatuh. So today I will present the filler table for paragraph 5, 6 and 7. So from the paragraph 5, the idea that we got is what are the properties of the algal bed. So from this idea, the action plan that we got resulting to the learning outcome that we find is causes of high nutrient like chlorophyll, which is this thing is occur in the sea algal bed. So for the paragraph 6, the idea that we got, the first one is how does the concentration of matter determine? The second one is how does brown seaweed determine the concentration of metal in water? So this action plan resulting to the concentration and metal distribution in water, because in this action plan we find out how to determine the concentration of metal in the water, and how how does brown seaweed determine the concentration of matter in water. The idea that we got from the next facts from paragraph 6 is why does copper concentration threaten the small crustacean? So from the action plan that we find, the learning outcome that we got is the effect of movement element from surface water to sediment, but we narrow it into absorption on particulate matter, because the absorption on particulate matter is involved for the matter involved in absorption in particulate matter is copper. So for the paragraph 7, the facts is only one, but we have three ideas. So the first idea is, can this situation bring danger to human? So this idea leads to the learning outcome, which is effect of movement of element from surface water to sediments, same as the previous idea, but we narrow it to passive uptake by organism, because the heavy metal and human does not in contact directly, and we didn't narrow it what is the heavy metal that involved with the human. So the next idea is what is the effect if the food chain broke due to the pollution, and are this pollution can be cured? If yes, what are the ways that we can do to solve this polluted environment? So the action plan that we found based on this idea is, if one animal in the species die, then the food may become limited and the species need to suit themselves with the new environment. And then for the next idea is, are this pollution can be a cure? If yes, what are the ways that we can do? So based on the reading that we have done, this pollution can be a cure because the Sydney Harbour Environmental Service have been cleaning Sydney Harbour's waterways that clean the debris, including from the stormwater pollution and other visible debris that floating on the surface of Sydney Harbour. So that's all from us. Thank you.